Now what's important when using SMPTE, MTC, or MIDI clock is your tempo. BPMs, beats per minute. Make sure you have the right BPMs that is on your track sheet when dealing with 2-inch or your ADATs, and make sure you have the right BPM also in your software. If you're using Logic or Pro Tools or Cubase or whatever's out there. It's important to make sure when you're syncing that you're locked into the right tempo. That's how you do it. Let's get busy. Now before I record into my computer system, onto my mixing board, we got a Pro Edition, which I suggest you get if you want to be a pro. That's what this videotape is all about, the next level. You need to get all your 8 outputs. Every track and every sample must correspond. We got to have a MIDI out and a MIDI in, locked into our system. Now we want to sync our MPC up with our software or with our slave device. We'll press Shift, Sync, and here we can go Sync In. We can use MIDI clock or MIDI time code or SMPTE. Okay, now I want to sync out. I want to send a sync out of the MPC to my system. I want to use MIDI clock. Now I want to sync out and use MTC. Now when using MTC, we must set a frame rate. My cursor down. Now the frame rate in Europe is 25 frames per second. But here in America, when recording music, we always use 30 frames per second. And when using SMPTE, we always use 30 frame rates per second. Now when syncing up, we want to make sure that we can either write SMPTE or sync up through MTC. Well, we have to set an offset, particularly when using 2-inch tape or using ADATs or D88s. Here's how you do it. You move our cursor, as you can see, to the now, and we're going to open the open window. Now you see there, it says beats and bars. And we also see up below there it says start time. I can set my start time in hours, minutes, and seconds. I'll set it to 5 seconds. And you can see here, my frame rate is 30. Okay, now, to record SMPTE, I set my ADAT up to record on track 8. Input in. I'm ready to record SMPTE. Okay, now I want to set a SMPTE output to my source, or to, let's say, an ADAT tape, a D88 tape, or a 2-inch tape, or even out to Pro Tools. Put in my out source. I put the other end into the in where I want to record or track, or to what system I want to use my SMPTE. Shift sync. Send my out to SMPTE out, 30 frames. Press play. Okay, now to receive my SMPTE time code to my MPC, I'll take out my patch bay here out of here. Turn my ADAT on and receive my sync, just right there on track 8. Always record your SMPTE from your last track from your medium. Okay, you can also sync with our MIDI cable using MTC. It's like SMPTE, except it comes through our MIDI cable. Here's the setup. MIDI cable out. We press Shift, MIDI sync, and we set our MPC up to send MTC out. Now when you want to send MTC back into your MPC2000 XL, You get a MIDI cable, of course. We're going to go in. Now we're going to in 1, MIDI input 1. We're going to send MTC directly in to our MPC2000 XL, and then we'll be able to sync up the MPC with the signal. Well, now we've got our MPC locked to my system known as Pro Tools, and what I want to do here is run the MPC in sync with my Pro Tools software. I'm going to pull up a status window, and here in my status window I can see my 30 frames per second and my current time and my session start, which I can use as an offset. I'll press play on my MPC, and we can see here the numbers going by. 5 seconds, 6, 7 seconds, and these are frames. Now we're going to do a MIDI setup.